Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Samp&Chance. I am your host, Bobby Sampson, and joined with me, as always, is the man with the master plan, old smiling blue eyes himself, Mr. Chance Michaels. Chance, how are you, man?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
Doing great, man. Before we start everything, I just want to shout out to All-Star Wrestling Crew. Amazing show this past Saturday. I've been posting about it. We've been posting about it. We've been talking about it. We've been telling people to go. If you guys missed it, you missed a cracker of a show. Standing room only, Chance.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's good.
Yeah, it was
What
unfortunately.
stood out for you about the show? What were some of the best matches?
You know what? I mean, the whole card was really cool. Watching the Bollywood boys, former WWE, current AEW stars, being there on the card, being really up close to them and kind of watching them work and, just seeing where they've come from 2010, the first time that I watched them, to actually watching them up close again, and just to see how far they developed and, evolved as characters and their moves and just their body movements, that was really fun to watch. Watching the Thunder from Jalandhar, man, that guy is all expressions. That's what I'm going to say about him. He sells the
He's a great
expressions so
entertainer,
well.
and for a guy that came I don't think he started training for what he's in his late 30s, early 40s. So he's late to big business, but for coming so late, he sure knows how to entertain, like you said.
Yeah, no, he has the
Yeah, gotta
crowd
give him that.
eating. No, 100%. He has the crowd eating out of his hand. It just his facial expression, he's got that charismatic side that I found that's just phenomenal. He was matched up against a great friend of ours, Scotty Mack, who was a surprise on the card. No one knew he was going to be there that night. And I'll tell you what, man, I've now been able to watch Scotty work consistently for the last couple of months. I'll say this, and not because he's our friend or not, but on the indie scene, I don't think there's anyone better than him.
No, there isn't. He's the best.
In terms
and let's
of,
not forget, he's early 40s and he still looks like he could be late 20s with his body and stuff. So he puts a lot of work into his craft.
100%, people would be remiss not to really pay attention to him. It's not about moves. That's just part of it. When I say he's the best going on the indie scene here in the Pacific Northwest, anyways, let's be fair. I'm sure there's other guys out there that can match him. I haven't seen them yet.
Nobody sells as good as Scotty, though.
But Scotty sells like nobody's business, right? And again, last night I had a front row seat to the front row seat. I was able to, be ringside for the whole night, just following them around. I got the honor of filming some segments and some clips for them. So that allowed me to get really close up to what was going on. And you know what? Shout out to the team there for giving me that opportunity. But watching Scotty work
sounds like ASW's got their new cameraman here.
Well, I don't know if they do or not. I mean, I would love to continue that role if it's provided. I thought it was amazing. I'll be honest, it was a hard thing to do considering it was the only camera on the floor. It's at that point you're using your instincts. Whatever you got as a wrestling fan, okay, where's this match going? Where's this match? Where's this move going to land, sort of a deal. It's really hard to do, Chance. I mean, I like to call myself an accomplished wrestling fan, but instinctually, it took a little time to warm up and get used to the whole concept of what it was.
Yeah.
Just walking around with the camera initially, I was kind of tentative. Okay, I don't want to piss off any of the crowd. I don't want to do that. But then as I gradually got into it, it got better and better, I feel. I don't think it's great. I think I can do much better. I think the product I produce could be better going forward. But I did, say there's some what do you call it? Some ideas that I threw out to the team afterwards in terms of going forward, like maybe having a hard cam somewhere, maybe having a couple perches set up that you could work from.
Now, is this going on YouTube or?
I don't know. I don't know how they're doing it. They probably just chop it up. I just gave them the card at the end of the show.
Gotcha.
Like a true artist, I always come prepared with all my gear. So I had my camera and everything in my bag with me. So, having all the stuff there ready to go provided me the opportunity. So again, shout out to the team at All Star Wrestling, an amazing show. You guys
Good thing that
missed
you
it.
did, or they never would have been filmed. So good for you.
Well, like I said, I don't know how good it is. I don't know if they can use it. I hope it's good. I haven't seen any of it. So from that perspective, I don't know. We'll see. Right.
Yeah.
But their next show, November 19th at the Sullivan Hall in Surrey. Guys, I'm telling you, if this is just the first show of the season, it's only going to get better. And I highly recommend everyone making your way out there. Bollywood Boys will be there again. So if you missed them in Vancouver, here's an opportunity to see them up and close and personal. And you know what the best part is? This is what I love about indie shows. The performers come out during the intermission to meet and greet and, sell their merch. And here's an opportunity to get a picture with former WWE stars. How often do you get that opportunity?
Yeah, it's great for the kids. Like even last time when I brought my kid, he got a picture with Randy and a couple of those guys. So that's
you froze there, brother. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I froze there. But yeah, so speaking of indie shows, while we're on that topic, we got another show coming up this Saturday.
Yeah, we got Love Country coming up this Saturday evening in Langley. I don't know what the card is, to be fair, but I highly recommend to check it out. Love Country Wrestling, I believe they're on Facebook. I believe they are on Facebook. I know that for sure. So
it's a cool venue. It's a barn, but people think of a barn, you think of hay, but it's actually like a barn with nice floors and ceilings, and they got a concession. People get married in there and have anniversary parties. So this is not this ain't your grandpa's barn, just put it that way.
And speaking of that barn, the day after we have the premiere of the movie Death Rumble starring Scotty Mack and other performers as well. This is a film done by a friend of ours, Rusty Nixon. He's got a couple films out there. Candyland is one of them. I highly recommend you guys check out Rusty's work. This is an amazing film, Chance. I was privileged enough to watch it once already.
Now, where can we watch this on Sunday? Is that the theater? What theater?
So it's gonna be at the Rio Theater. It's being held as part of a festival. It's called I don't know what the festival is called. This is really bad of me, but
we
all
can
I'm
go
gonna
up so we
say,
can watch it.
yeah, you check it out. Go to the Rio Theater website to check it out. Check out Rusty Nixon on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just punch up his name, he'll come up. You'll get all the details there as well. I can tell you there's going to be a Q&A with all the wrestlers involved in this. So a quick synopsis of the film. Imagine a traveling indie show, and they're going town to town, and basically their car breaks down and some people help them. They bring them back to their little town. Unbeknown to these people are quite savage. So it's like a wrestling horror comedy.
Yeah, sounds interesting. I've seen the clips of it. Looks good.
Yeah, it looks really, really good. So guys, I highly recommend it. This weekend, you know what? The weather's going to start to get a little crappier. It's going to get a little colder. Come check out the movie on Sunday and come check out Love Country on Saturday night. You will not be disappointed. It's going to be a great, great weekend of events. That all being said, my friend, let's get into it. Monday Night Raw, we're getting close to Crown Jewel. And this is the second week in a row that Raw's opened up with right into a segment. Like, it's kind of like, I like that feel of realism, like, oh shit, this stuff's already started before the cameras even rolled. Bobby Lashley was out in the ring and he's calling out Brock Lesnar saying, come out here, boy, let's do this. He comes out and you know what? They tango, man. But unfortunately, Brock got the worst of this interaction.
Yeah, he did. That was a good segment, man. I mean, anytime you get those two big guys going at it, it's money. I mean,
yeah.
What did Lashley speared him through the barricade there, picked him up, threw him on the announce table. It was probably my favorite part of Raw, actually.
Yeah, then he picked him up a second time, then finally got him through the table. So I mean, I love this because I think it's really cool that they're actually building it this time, opposed to just throwing it together in 3 weeks. There wasn't much there.
The Crown Jewel shows, always the big boys are on them. Like you get Goldberg and Lesnar. I think whoever's putting that together requests certain wrestlers.
Well, the prince in charge in Saudi Arabia, who's putting all this together, he likes the big guys.
Yeah.
And he likes the old names. And if he had his way, I'm sure he'd have Kevin Nash and all those guys on there. But Um, I've always found it interesting that they love Goldberg so much there, considering,
He's huge over there.
yeah, but it's just culturally culturally his people aren't accepted by
I don't think
them.
a lot of people realize that he's Jewish.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
That's the funny part. Like seeing a bunch of Arabs shouting Goldberg, it seems not right.
Yeah.
It's just out of
People
place.
forget how exciting and how explosive Goldberg was in the late 90s. He was a huge star. So
Well, I mean, he had his 3 or 4 moves. That was about it. And you know, I think I remember very vividly when he had to fight Steven Regal, he got exposed hard, man.
he did, but like he wasn't there to be a technical wrestler like Steven. He's there to sell the tickets and do a quick match, right?
Yeah, 100%. So basically, that's how Raw opens up, Chancellor. And then from there, we go into our first match, which is the returning OC, the Good Brothers. I love those guys, man. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are back with AJ Styles. The OC's back, man. Those guys haven't been around since WrestleMania when Undertaker and AJ fought.
I'll be honest, man, and I know my kid loves these guys. I don't care for these guys. Never did. I wasn't sad to see them go. I mean, they're okay, but I don't think they're anything special, personally, in my opinion. I know people are gonna get pissed off at that, but that's just what I think.
I'll say this much, man. Luke Gallows.
Big boy, I'll give him that.
But the one thing that people said about Luke Gallows in particular was that when he got released, that was a huge blow to the locker room morale, because he was kind of one of those general guys. Like he was, he just the upbeat energy. So
Yeah,
I think, no, not maybe, it's a fact.
Well, maybe, but I'm just talking as watching it as a fan. I don't know what goes on backstage, but I'm saying listening to the guy talk and stuff, like his backstage segment, I thought was not very good. I just thought something about the guy. Like, he's big.
Yeah.
I like that about him, but just don't see the appeal of OC to myself.
Fair enough, man. Each of their own. That's the beauty of the Samp&Chance show. Samp never agrees with Chance, and Chance never agrees with me. So that's the beauty of us. They fought one of my favorite teams, the Alpha Academy.
I love those guys.
Those guys are fun, so much fun. Basically, they lost, they won. Get this OC over, basically just to show they still can compete with any tag team.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, they got to put it over.
But sure enough, Judgment Day shows up, and I guess Ray's not. This is how they separated them, eh? So Ray has now on SmackDown.
Yeah, they did the trade of Happy Corbin.
Yeah, interesting, eh?
Well, wait till we get to the Happy Corbin. I got an interesting take on that when we get to that part.
Yeah, we'll get there. So the OC comes out and they kind of go back and forth, drawing each other. And at the end of it, it turns out we're going to have a match, Dominic versus AJ later on in the show, because Dominic needed an hour to get ready. The one thing that I take away from Dominic Mysterio's gear these days is when I look at it, the back of it has a DM on it. It reminds me so much of Depeche Mode.
Yep. Yeah, I can see. I never thought of that, but yeah.
The lettering and everything is just so Depeche Mode, 1995, 96 version.
I think the Depeche Mode it's probably got more build than Dominic does. Man, is he a skinny guy? Holy cow. I really noticed that in that suit yesterday.
Dom?
Yeah.
Well, he's young. I'm sure he has to fill out a bit more, but I mean, he's come a long way.
25, 26 now?
It's got to be somewhere there, 24, 25, somewhere like that. But yeah, we'll get to Dominic in a minute here. So basically after that, we get Seth Rollins coming out, and he's looking all glitzy and glam in his red suit. He's happy. He's a clam. He's the U.S. champion. In essence, I guess you can call that the heavyweight title of Raw right now.
Yep.
Okay, right. So, I mean, he's at the top of the mountain. He's talking all his talk. Ali comes out, and I like what they're doing with Ali here, trying to show him that he's working. He really wants that opportunity. He tells Seth that Bobby Lashley had promised him the next opportunity. And this is where Seth was amazing. Seth is such a good promo. Even I started to believe. He's like, I've always respected you. I've always liked you. I've always, bam, right in the kisser.
Yeah, that was good.
And, he kind of beat him down and kind of played him down like that. So that was kind of a cool segment. Before we go to commercial, we see JBL's limo coming back, man. I haven't seen that Texas Longhorn limo in a long time, so it's kind of cool to see that. Damage Control versus Candice LeRae and Bianca Belair. that was kind of your typical match, back and forth, not much to really get into, but they get the pin on the Ray to kind of make up for the loss that they had last week. Decent match. I think
Yeah, it
everyone
was
worked really well. I mean, it's pretty cool. One of the interesting things on that was Bailey was on commentary, and the one thing that I kind of picked out, they asked her, "Why are you so mad at Candice LeRae?" And her response was basically, "Oh, we've known each other for so long. She couldn't even text me that she was coming back." I like what Bailey's doing, but I almost feel that they can do more with her.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they're going to do with her, but I don't know.
Like after this, I mean, if she doesn't win the title, where does she go?
Put over to SmackDown. Seems like I think this trend that they're doing, this trade stuff, you're going to see a lot more of that moving around a little bit.
Well, they got to figure something out because Charlotte's due back soon as well.
Yeah, that's true.
But you probably keep Charlotte on SmackDown, right? And I want to mention something about SmackDown here a little bit later. Anyways, JBL comes out and he's all awesome and everything at first, and then he gets going, man. I forgot how good of a heel he was, man.
Yeah, he's good heel.
And his promo was amazing.
You talking about the one backstage?
No. The one that he did in the ring.
Oh, when he came out there and introduced Corbin.
Yeah. His interesting. He talked
I
about.
have to say something. That is one of the ugliest gear I've ever seen in wrestling. That Corbin's outfit looked like the inside of a grandma's purse. That is absolutely horrible. I don't know. I love JBL and his work, but why does he doesn't need to be with Corbin? I mean, they've switched Corbin's character around so much. Like, I just feel like it's never going to come together now. First of all, he was a giant, then he was a goofy guy, then he was sad Corbin. Now he's with JBL. Like, I feel bad for the guy because he's a legit athlete. He's a big guy, but like that outfit is god awful.
You know what? I'll say this, man, about Corbin. Okay, I agree with everything that you said, but that shows me the company has faith in him, and they feel that they can get that right formula. Because 9 times out of 10, they'll give up on a guy after 3 tries, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
this guy's going on his 5th opportunity. But the thing is, when he's in the ring, he's really good.
Oh, he's an awesome wrestler. I really like him.
He's a great worker, and I think that's what's helping him along the way. This might be the character for him. Because, I mean, if you think about it, besides the lone wolf character that he had, I can't see any other, like, sad Corbin, happy Corbin. Those are just kind of, how long can they last?
I thought him and Madcap had great chemistry doing that silly stuff. They should have kept that going, I thought.
But because he's such a good in-ring performer, you can only be goofy for so long.
Yeah, being that big, yeah.
Right? Because he's got the physique, it's believable that he can be beaten.
And he's a Golden Gloves boxer.
Well, that's the thing. It's believable that he can be beaten.
Yeah.
But it's also believable that he can hold the title for a long period of time.
Yeah.
Right? Unfortunately, Chad Gable, who's an amazing wrestler, he's just, let's call it the way, I'm going to call it the way I see it. He's just too small.
He's too small, yeah.
Right? He's too small.
Yeah.
The only small guy to really get the rub and the push is one Rey Mysterio Jr.
Very rare. You know what's going to happen here? Eventually, you're going to see Corbin and JBL have a match. And the JBL's one last match. They're going to go at it, and Corbin will crush him. Something like that will happen.
Well, probably. I mean, technically they say Corbin's
I'm glad JBL's back, but I really enjoy the guy, so I'm happy about that.
Well, look, I mean, this is the thing he said, man. I mean, just some of the things he said were just, things that people may think about, but you haven't really ever heard in WWE, right? I've never heard anyone ever say these things, like the entire roster would be just enhancement talent or guys sitting in a crowd if this was the Attitude Era.
That was my favorite part of the best comment of Raw. I was going to bring that up. Yeah, I love that.
Right? Like those kind of comments and his delivery, his cadence, and the whole wrestling god thing he does, like just the way he talked about Texas against Oklahoma City, just that you're like, oh, wow, this is great.
I missed him on commentary. He was great at it too, by the way.
No, he was great. And he was on commentary too, kept calling Kevin Patrick Shamrock. I mean,
yeah, that was good. Yeah.
To think about a time we live in today where you can't say this and you can't do that. This guy broke all the rules in his right. And I loved it. I thought it was absolutely awesome and refreshing. Corbin goes up against Ziggler because JBL said we wanted top level competition. Former world champion, king of or whatever he's won, Money in the Bank. Good match, solid match.
Yeah.
Obviously Corbin gets the win. I get it. You have to kind of sell him a little bit here now. But all in all, I'll say it was really good, man.
Yeah, I'm JBL back, and I'm a big fan of Corbin, so hopefully he starts to get up the ranks a little bit. Man, he's got to change that outfit. That is god awful.
Well,
It's like Grandma's purse from 1983 in that outfit. That's horrible stuff.
The thing is, I think he's still transitioning the character because he's still coming out to Happy Corbin music.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that has to change as well. And I think eventually, like you said, you'll start to see the evolution of the character. So yeah. I mean, we're still kind of 3/4 Happy Corbin and 1/4 whatever this new character is going to actually be.
Yeah.
You know, if he's going to be anything like JBL, then he's probably start wearing suits, and he'll probably start wearing a cowboy hat, maybe. I don't know.
Possible. Maybe. Yeah, they might go that route.
But maybe not. Maybe he'll be a fresher version of it.
Well,
right?
look what happened to Evolution. Triple H, Orton, and Batista never wore suits. So they joined up with Flair. They're all rocking suits. So I can see what you're saying on that.
Yeah. So I mean, it could be something like that, or you know what? Look was really good on him when he had the jeans and the half vest, like like just the vest and the white shirt. You could even go back to that, and that would totally fit this role, I think.
Yeah, he could go that kind of like biker look that he has. He rides Harleys in real life, so I could see that.
Yeah, you could do something like that, but I think so just a jazzed up new modern version of a JBL type of character.
Pretty much.
So after that, we go backstage and Miz is screaming bloody murder, his knee, my knee. Ali and what's his face? Johnny Gargano are backstage, and they're telling him, we'll get you help, and he's coming up later on to fight Dexter Lumis. Dexter wins, he gets a contract. If he loses, then I guess no contract. I don't know.
I assume so.
Yeah. Where are we here? So yeah, we get back into it. There's a little segment there with Omos and MVP talking about Braun Strowman. Now, are these guys
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, are these guys going to move over to SmackDown, do you think? Because they're technically Raw right now.
I'm not sure what they're going to do with them, but anytime you can get a couple, like a giant like Omos, he's an attraction. So I'm not sure where he's going to go, but they're probably going to have a match at Crown Jewel, it seems.
Yeah, I think so, because it's going to happen down there, right?
Well, who do you put over, Omos or Braun? Or he ended in a disqualification or something like that.
I'm going to say if someone's going to win, it's going to be Braun.
He seems that way. He's hot right now. He just came back, right?
I'm going to say it's going to be Braun only for the fact that it seems to me because Triple H brought him back.
Could be,
right? And Omos just kind of being there, and that was kind of Vince's project almost to a certain extent, you know? So you would almost think that Triple H is going to put over his guy over that guy.
Speaking of Triple H, I would love to be a fly on the wall at that Thanksgiving dinner with Vinny and Triple H and Stephanie. Hear what they're really saying. That'd be an interesting Thanksgiving.
You know what? I'm sure it'll be just fine. I remember reading an article here that you mentioned this. Triple H had said, this is what Vince told Triple H. It's your show now.
I heard that.
Right? Yeah, you book it and all that. So I don't think there's going to be any hostilities, man.
Isn't it funny, though? It's Triple H is creative, but Vince is still owns 80% of the company. What a weird dynamic. 80% shareholder. Man. I think one day he's going to pull the rug out and sell his shares off. When, I don't know, but one day he will.
Well, if he does, he does, man. Until then, I'm going to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, it's not bad. He's doing all right. Triple H isn't doing that bad. I think he gets a lot more hate than he deserves.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I mean, I've been saying that for a while.
If you read online, and I'm not talking about Triple H as a wrestler, like he's obviously top 15, maybe top 10 all time, but people always say this about him. He joined up with the Click to get power, right? I'm not saying he did. I'm just telling you what they say. And then all of a sudden he marries the boss's daughter. And then all of a sudden now, Vinny stepped down on his own. Triple H had nothing to do with Vinny stepping down. Vinny could have stayed on, but he stepped down, best for business, and now he's running creative. So people see him as nothing but a brown noser, nothing but a kiss butt to get power. I'm not saying he is. That's what you hear a lot of hate about. Him and John Cena, probably the two most hated guys that I've ever, just reading the comments and hearing people talk about it, right?
You know what?
I'm not saying they deserve that.
No, they did, and they don't. They don't. I mean, at the end of the day, you got a guy in John Cena, okay? And you've seen this yourself, my man. You've seen it twice now.
Amazing.
You've seen it twice now, right?
Mm-hmm.
At big events that he's not even at.
I know.
And his merch is outselling everybody's.
Monday Night Raw in Edmonton, he was the #1 selling shirt.
This is a guy in John Cena who's not a second-gen wrestler.
Nope.
He doesn't have any, he had no affiliation to anybody coming into the business.
Yeah.
It's a guy who worked his ass off, to get
Yeah.
where he is, to become the guy that he become. Now, here's the one thing I will say. He came at a time when they went back to PG.
Yeah.
Right? Would he have been the face that runs the place if they didn't go to PG? I don't think so. I don't think
Probably not. He
I
came at the
don't
right
think
time.
he came at the right time. And what makes him stand apart from Hogan, even in my opinion, his longevity. He kept that role, he kept that standard for 10 plus years, even to now. One can argue that he's still the face that runs the place, even though he hasn't been there, just based on merch.
He's still got a few more matches left in him.
Right? He does, but I mean, he just, who was I watching? They were talking about the Mount Rushmore of, like, okay, let's take the WWE, okay? The WWE
Okay.
or the WWF, WWF, WWE kind of a deal. And who were the goats of those eras? So, for example, one could say that Bruno Sammartino was the goat of WWF.
Yeah, when Vinny Senior was running it.
Exactly, right? Obviously, the GOAT of WWF would be
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan.
Not even close, yeah.
Right. The GOAT of WWE, though.
Stone Cold or John Cena?
But see, here's the thing. Stone Cold was also in WWF.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
So here's what I'm going to say. You said Hogan was the GOAT of WWF?
Yeah.
I'll say Stone Cold was the GOAT of WWF. Because he came at a time when the company was almost bankrupt.
Yeah.
He came at a time and he changed the dynamic of everything. He became the anti-hero that everyone liked.
Yeah,
right?
no, he had a huge run. Yeah, he did.
No, not even that, but that's the funny part. He didn't. He was only on top for 2 to 3 years.
He had a short run, yeah.
Right. But in those 2 to 3 years that he had his run, he was fucking king.
But Hogan packed more seats than Stone Cold.
But Hogan, right. He did, but it
according to our boy Vance, Hogan is the 6th best drawing superstar in Canada.
Well, of course.
Canada.
Huh? Of course he is, man, because he was an attraction. How often did he come? I mean, I remember going to see him fight Big John Studd at BC Place.
Yeah, I've seen that one too.
Right? I mean, how often did Hogan ever come here? Or anywhere in Canada for that matter? Maybe Cops Coliseum in Hamilton. He probably hit Toronto and Cops Coliseum more than any other spot in Canada.
Not the West Coast very often in Canada, that's for sure.
Yeah. Even though he was from Venice, California. Like, but the GOAT of all GOATs of WWE would have to be Cena.
Yeah, I think so.
Just his longevity, just the whole thing, just his run.
Oh, you could say Undertaker, maybe.
Undertaker was a different mystique, though.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Right? I mean, he wasn't the face. Like, Cena was the #1 merch pusher. I mean, the guy's got the world record on most wishes granted for Make-A-Wish.
Yeah, and he's an all-around great guy too. You don't hear him about crashing his car and doing crazy, beating his wife or whatever. He's a pretty good guy.
Him and The Rock are the same in essence, right? I mean, their feud was very real. It was almost a feud when they had their WrestleMania stuff. It wasn't until Cena went into the world of The Rock that he started to discover why he is what he is and why he didn't come back for so long and all that. Because he's basically become the same kind of individual himself.
Here's a question for you. Who do you like? Like, who do you like better, Rock or John Cena? Just for wrestling, like movies aside.
But see, both guys only had 4 to 5 moves. So, I mean, there's not really much.
But I mean, like promo skills, everything, looks, everything.
Cena.
Yeah, me too.
I think he was sharper. I think it was more realistic. It was more believable. More tongue in cheek. I think The Rock was great, but
we're not taking nothing away from that.
No. The Rock was great. What made The Rock really cool was the fact that he did everything in the third person. But he was catchphrase heavy.
Yeah.
Right? Where Cena could freestyle on the mic on a promo.
Yeah,
and make it. Yeah. Like, so yeah, that's where I kind of go with that. Um, should we get back to Raw?
Finish it up.
All right, let's finish it up here, man. AJ Styles versus Dominic Mysterio. Basically, it's what I thought. It'd be a lot of interference from one. Rhea Ripley. The OC had the other two lads covered up, but Rhea was in there constantly putting her 2 cents in and jumping up on the apron. And this leads me to believe that the OC will get a woman member pretty soon.
Yeah, because AJ was tempted to hit her. He's like, I'd like to knock you out. And then he kind of backed off from it. So.
Yeah. So Dominic wins. Yay, Dominic. Woo-hoo. But I get it. They want to have fun with it, and it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt AJ at all.
No, at all. No, it's not a big deal.
Right. So it's kind of cool what they're trying to do with him and whatnot. And Dominic looks kind of good, but let's talk about this now. So Friday night SmackDown. Ray goes over to SmackDown to talk to Triple H to say, look, I'm done. I can't fight my son. I quit. I'm sorry. Triple H says, hey, won't you come into my office? Let's talk. And later that night, Ray comes out in a fatal 4-way, was it? Yeah. In a fatal 4-way, and he wins. And now he is the #1 contender for the Intercontinental title, going up against Gunther next week. So they moved Ray off of Raw. And now we see how they can extend the storyline.
Yeah, what do you think they're going to do? Have Dominic and Judgment Day come over to SmackDown and chase him around, or what?
No, I don't think anything happens now till Royal Rumble, or maybe Survivor Series. First Survivor Series, then Royal Rumble.
Think so?
You can have 2 interactions there and there, and then you'll see the story amp up after the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, no, you could be right.
Right? So it's great thinking. I didn't think about it myself. We kept thinking, okay, how are they going to play this? How are they going to keep this going till Mania? Well, here you go. That's the beauty of having 2 brands.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's fun. I hope he keeps Gunther for the Intercontinental belt. I don't think he will, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I mean, Gunther's kind of holding it pretty tight right now too, and he's had phenomenal matches. Every match that he's defended that title, he looks to me like the guy who should be winning the match.
Yep.
I love that hard style.
I
like that hard style, right? And guys like him and Sheamus, they really bring it down hard. All right, so we go backstage and they show the Miz again, and Johnny Gargano is standing at the doorway, says, "Oh, look out, it's Dexter." That causes the Miz to jump up, and his knee's okay. So we're going into that match. Next, Dexter's coming out. I don't know where I was at the time, but all I remember was seeing Miz come. I thought Miz came out first.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess somehow he got behind Dexter and he started beating him with the chair, basically knocking him out with the chair, and that was basically the end of the match. Interesting storyline developing here, because Johnny Gargano is talking to him saying, look, you can end this all by just telling the truth. Miz is playing it down like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man. So it's an interesting story here. Like, why is Dexter Lumis so enamored by the Miz, or why is he so into getting him and what have you? So it's cool. I like what they're trying to do here. They're developing a story. Should be interesting to see.
I just don't like how they're making Miz like a scaredy cat of Dex, because Dexter is not an imposing figure. Like, he looks creepy, a guy you'd see in a bush, but he's not a physical specimen, not much bigger than Miz, and they're making Miz being really scared, which I don't like. I don't like that.
If there's anyone who could have done it like that, it would have been him, to pull that character off.
I know. What I'm saying is, like, he's doing a great job. And what I'm saying is, Dexter's not a big guy. Miz is not a big guy, about the same size. And they're making Miz seem so scared and so babyish and so weak. I just don't get it. Like, I could see him as like a guy like Baron Corbin, Undertaker, but not somebody like Dexter. It's not, what I'm saying is, I don't believe Dexter as that kind of character. It doesn't seem like he's a scary, tough guy at all. Seems like a weirdo to me.
But that's exactly what he is. He's a weirdo.
No, I know, but like a creepy weirdo, not like a guy you'd be scared of, just like some goof in the park. Like, oh, you're a clown. Like, not like a big Undertaker or somebody that, oh man, this guy's actually scary. But Dexter, don't like it. First, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, fair enough, huh? Fair enough. All right. So basically, guess who's back in town? It's Elias, my friend. Elias is back, and he's out in the ring, and he's got his keyboard, a couple guitars set up, and he talks about, how his brother's career was unfortunately cut short, and he's back because, the show must continue. And basically, as he's about to start his song, Matt Riddle comes out with his bongo drums. Manning asks him
Yeah,
if he
that was
wants
good.
to take a hit off his bong. And they have a good little laugh. He gets down, he's about to start playing the bongos, he's typing up the keyboard, everything's beautiful. Sounds really good, actually. And
Yeah,
then
well, that was a good segment.
my man's music hits and Seth is out, and we go straight into the US title match, Matt Riddle versus Seth Rollins. He tries to get the triangle right off the bat. It's kind of good. These guys work really well together. I'll give them credit.
Very good chemistry.
They have great chemistry, good back and forth in this match. Everything is going the way it's supposed to go here. And basically, match comes to an end when Seth Rollins gets a stomp on him and wins the match. And that's basically it. At the end of the match, though, that's where the fun starts. He, is about to do a bit more damage on Matt here, but out comes Ali. I don't know if he's making the save or he's just trying to build his name.
I don't know why, and then why are they picking Mustafa? Just giving Mustafa Ali a chance. I don't know why him.
Because
he's from NXT. I guess he's one of their boys, but I didn't like that. Like, I don't mind him as a worker, but to me, he's mid card at best.
Well, here's the thing, man. I think everyone's a mid card wrestler until they're given an opportunity, right? He's a guy. Have you looked at what he's been posting on Twitter as well? Some of the so he's kind of reinventing himself. He's trying to come out as this guy who's really pushing for it. Let's give it a chance, right? Like, I mean,
I agree, get a chance, but how many chances has he already had?
But
he's been around for 2 years now, right?
But he hasn't had many chances, though. Every time he got an opportunity, unfortunately, injuries kind of got him. Like that whole Kofi Mania thing only happened because he got the chance that Mustafa was supposed to have.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, here's the other thing, man. How many times are you going to see Seth fight the same guys and get into the same storylines?
So I'm glad Seth and Riddle's moving on, but I just don't think Ali's the guy for that spot. I just put him there myself.
On the Raw roster right now, who should be the number one contender to him now? Who should Seth be going into a storyline?
I'd rather see him go against Austin Theory. I'd rather see him even go against Chad Gable, who's got more entertainment value and a better worker, I think, than Ali.
Faces though, man.
There's about 4 or 5 guys I'd pick over Ali.
Okay. Well, like I said, I mean,
and where's Austin Theory? Did he even come out on Raw? They're buried. Like, where is this guy?
He hasn't been on Raw. He didn't come on Raw this week, and neither was Kevin Owens for that matter. So neither one of them was there. So, I don't know what's going on with Theory. To be honest, I don't know.
I guess he's Vince's boy, and he's Triple H's boy, and he's finding out what it's like. I guess pretty much.
Well, I mean, he was working down with Triple H at NXT, and they did great stuff down there. So I don't think that's the issue. I don't know. I don't want to.
Well, I'm not saying that Triple H dislikes him, but maybe he doesn't see him quite the same like Vince does. Everybody's going to see different things different ways, right?
Well, maybe the other piece is you're just kind of building him up as well. I mean, if they have big plans for this character, if they have big plans for him down the road, you don't want to saturate him too much either. I think the one thing that Triple H learned from the Vince era, from all of it, is that you can't shove shit down people's throat.
But he's doing the same thing though. He's putting all those NXT guys out there down people's throat.
No, I don't agree with that, man. Because I mean, the roster before he took over was 90% all NXT guys, anyways, and girls.
You got to put people out on the show, right?
Yeah, but most of the
I know, but he's putting everybody has to put their guys, right?
Right. But if you look at all the top names that are currently in the promotion right now, the guys that everyone loved, the Seth Rollins, et cetera, down the line, they're all NXT guys. So, I mean,
but what I'm saying is, I'll give you an example. People say, oh, Vince put stuff down our throat. Well, look at John Cena. He put it down our throat. He's one of the most popular superstars ever. There's a reason for that, right? And I just don't think guys like Mustafa Ali and Kevin Owens are ever going to be like that. Like the John Cena's or the Roman Reigns, right? Because I'm not trying to be rude, but there's regular looking Joes. And that they don't have that star look, and people don't gravitate towards that as far as the big level like a Cena or Roman Reigns.
Right, but I mean, Roman only got over because I think the pandemic was the main reason that he got over, man. I don't think he would have gotten over if it wasn't a pandemic. I mean, that pandemic allowed him to build the character that he has today, right? I mean, before that, if the crowds were around, that character wouldn't have been developed the way it is. The way it's being presented, because there was no one there to fucking boo him and try to hijack the shows, right?
Yeah, definitely didn't hurt him.
No, it didn't hurt him. It helped him a lot. It helped develop the character that we see today. But yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. But again, it's a constantly evolving program. The same guys can't be on top all the
No, I
time.
agree. I agree. But
So
I wouldn't. I would pick about 5 other guys with Farley. Maybe I'll be wrong, and maybe he'll be amazing and rise to the top. He's got his chance now, so let's see what he does with it. Right?
well, I mean, you got two guys who work really, really well. Like I'm not individually as well. They're both great workers. They're
Mhm.
both technicians in the ring. So I think I'm excited to see the matches because they've never really worked together. So that's the thing. I like the freshness of this new feud for Seth,
Yeah,
especially. Seth has kind of been going back and forth to this guy, to that guy, to this guy, to that guy, to that guy, to this guy. You know what I mean? So it's nice to see him be able to work in a new direction. As far as Austin Theory goes, yeah, maybe he's the next big name, but maybe they're just trying a different approach with him where they don't overexpose him. Because I mean, quite frankly, outside of him having the briefcase, what else does he have going on?
that's it. That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's
Right?
quite on their big plans. I don't think he's going to be that big guy for them. Everybody sees things differently, right? So maybe they don't see him as a top guy. Who knows? We'll see.
But here's the thing, though, man. Chance, honestly, I don't think anyone saw Cena being the top guy. It just happened.
No, I know, but you got to get your chance. You got to be out there to get it. If he's not
No, I
coming
get
out
it.
there pushing,
But you know,
right?
he's so young, man. He's got the money in the bank, so nothing's really hurting him, right? If he didn't have that briefcase, then I could
No, I
say,
agree. But what I'm saying is, I don't think Triple H sees him as highly valued as Vince does. That's what I'm saying.
no.
Just from what I've seen the last few months. I know Triple H likes them, they work together, but I just don't think he sees them as high up as Vince does.
Okay, well, let's see where he goes
We'll
with that,
see.
man. I mean,
Yeah.
I'll put it this way, man. I'll agree with you if he loses the money in the bank briefcase, either by losing the actual briefcase or losing the title match. If
Yeah.
that happens, then I'll agree with you. Because that guy's carrying gold in his thing, right? And it's very rare. Who is it? John Cena and Baron Corbin are the only two guys who have ever lost their money in the bank match.
Yeah. We'll see what
Right?
they do with him. You could be right. We're going to find out.
So, I mean, keep that in mind. It's very rare that the guy loses the title. And unfortunately, because the way the title situation is set up, I mean,
Well, I'm not saying he's going to lose it, but I don't know if he's ever going to cash in and become a champ in the near future.
well, he's got till Mania. That's how long the contract lasts, right?
Yeah.
It's good till WrestleMania, or I guess until the next Money in the Bank. I'm not sure, but either way, it's good till April or May.
Yeah, he's got some time.
He's got lots of time, man. That was Raw. That was basically Raw for you, man. Decent show. I thought it was okay.
It was okay.
Again, good flow to it. I had fun with it. It was fun. Bret Hart talked about something recently, which I thought would be interesting to share. He talked about 3 guys that he would have loved to have tangled with if he ever had the opportunity. Did you see that article?
Did you say Bret Hart?
Bret Hart, yeah, I thought it was
I don't
kind
know.
of
Probably
interesting.
Kurt Angle. He's been talking about that for 20 years. Did you say
You
Kurt
know
again?
what? Absolutely. The first guy he mentioned, Kurt Angle, would have been one of those primary guys. He always wanted to work with me, and I wish I could have worked with him. I thought those guys would have had amazing matches.
He would have some good matches. Yeah, Bret had a pretty short career, actually, if you think about it. It wasn't that long.
Bret Hart?
Well, I mean, I'm talking about like as a champ, and like he only really had 3-4 years there. Other stuff was all tag team.
Yeah, but he's been wrestling. He's been in the Federation since like the mid 80s, man. Like he was there.
No, I know, but I mean, like I'm talking like when he became Intercontinental, broke off from gym and all that, and started doing his own thing. It was only 4 or 5 years. In '98, he was already out.
Yeah, he's kind of
Right,
forced
right.
out, right? So
Well, I mean, like when he went to WCW.
yeah, no, I get it. But if you think about his entire run in the WWF, WWE, it goes back to 1986, man. He was a part of the world. No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. But the guy's been around for so long in the Federation.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not taking anything away from him. I'm just saying, like,
the other guy that he talked about was Brock Lesnar, which I thought was really interesting. He says that working with Brock would have been really fun because what he's heard about him is that he's a pro in the ring, unlike Goldberg. I hate Goldberg, eh?
Yeah, Bret's a very, very angry, very bitter guy. I get what Goldberg did. He didn't mean to do it, but that's part of wrestling, dude. I mean, Stone Cold didn't mean to drop Owen on his head, but he doesn't hate Stone Cold because they're friends, but he hates Goldberg. Well, I mean, the guy he's a very bitter, very angry guy, like great wrestler, but like, you know, it's the same. He's been saying the same thing for 25 years now. You know what I mean? Like he blames WCW. They didn't know what to do with Bret Hart, but yet, wait a minute. Hulk Hogan went to WCW and look what he did. Became one of the greatest heels ever. So come on, not blaming everybody.
No. What he's saying there, Okay, what he's saying there, when he came to WCW, they
Mhm.
had no idea what to do with the character, considering everything that just happened. Okay,
Yeah.
with WWE at that WWF at the time with the screw job and everything, the biggest mistake, and this is where it got frustrating, is you're sitting. This is Eric Bischoff in WCW. You're sitting on a gold mine of a story. Their top guy just got screwed by the company and everything. It took you 6 months to bring him out. You could have brought him out that night, the Monday night, right? How different would have everything?
Yeah, but
How different would everything have been with the Monday Night Wars if they had done it that way? Like that's what the frustration is. It's like, okay, because everyone else was running the shows, this and that, there was really no control in WCW at that point. You know, you legitimately had the workers, booking and everything. So from that perspective, they dropped the ball. I mean, that's the point there.
yeah, I'm not saying mistakes weren't made, but he blames Vince, he blames Eric, he blames everybody, blame everybody, dude. But all these other guys went to WCW and did fine. Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Hulk Hogan, big stars. You didn't make it there. I'm not saying Eric didn't screw up. Like you can't keep blaming everybody for
Well, I
everything that
mean,
went wrong in your life, dude.
no, for sure. I agree with you, but I mean, at the
Right?
same time, I mean, I think it's founded, but hey, what can you do, man? I mean, that's Bret
He's a
Hart for
good
you.
worker, like and stuff.
I
He's,
love
you
him.
know, I guess the
He's
best Canadian wrestler of all time. But I mean,
guy's top three ever, in my opinion.
no, I don't think so. I don't think he's top five.
No, I think he's top three in terms of technical wrestling. Absolutely.
But I mean, when I think of wrestling, I think of everything else. Like everything.
No,
The
I get
mic
it.
work, the tickets sold. He didn't have top for any of that stuff.
Yeah,
Good, yes. If you want to say in-ring work, yeah, he's one of the better ones.
absolutely. Top three in ring workers.
But wasn't that great on the mic. Didn't sell a lot of arenas.
Look at you putting the hate on the Hitman, man.
I gotta call it like it is. Like he's Canadian, don't get me wrong, but like Hogan, Rock, Austin, Cena, all guys that did everything he did and way better.
Hey, fair enough. Well, I mean,
Right.
they did everything else better, but I mean, in the ring, he was one of the best, in my opinion. All right,
Yep.
Chance, you got anything for me? A top five? Do you have anything you want to throw at me?
I do. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, man.
Let's
Hey,
hear
by the way, guys, I don't know what the top five is, so this is completely organic. All right, go.
let's hear your top 5 favorite storylines of the year so far.
Top five storylines of the year so far. Dominic and company,
Okay.
father-son story. That's probably the best one going right now, the way they're building that up. You know what storyline I really like? The thing between Jey Uso and Sami Zayn. I
That's
love
good.
that storyline. I love the fact that if you watch closely, it's hilarious because when Sami's on the mic or backstage segments, these guys are trying so hard not to laugh.
No, Sammy's awesome. He's hilarious.
Right? I mean, you constantly see Jay just doing this. As mean and as orny as he's supposed to be, he wants to laugh his face off. Okay, so that's 2 storylines, right?
Yeah.
I would have to say the storyline right now between Brock and Lashley, if done right, it could be really fun.
Yep. Agreed.
I'm really into that storyline as well. Matt Riddle, Seth Rollins storyline was really good as well. And I would have to say the Cody and Seth Rollins storyline was really good as well. That'd be my 5
that
for
was a
this
good one.
year.
Cody should be back with Royal Rumble or something like that, they say.
He should be back by the Rumble. He should win the Rumble, and then he should go on to WrestleMania. But I don't know if he's going to be facing a champion.
I think he's going to take the belt from Reigns if he's healthy. We'll
Again,
see.
we got to see what they're going to do with The Rock.
Yeah, we'll see. You never know.
Rock's already been talking in some of the because he's promoting Black Adam right now, right? That's coming out this Friday. And he's been in a couple segments talking, they've asked him, so who's the head of the table? He goes, well, you're looking at him.
Nice.
So, they're already planting the seeds, right?
Yeah.
But the man,
it's Hollywood, so I don't blame him.
Right. But he's still playing coy, saying, you know what, a lot of things have to happen, come into place. If they want this match to happen, I'm sure he can make it work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right. And calling himself the head of the table already. Well, there you go.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I hope it happens. Good to see you.
Absolutely. All right, Chance Michaels, it's time to wrap this puppy up. I got to go do some things, and I'm sure you got some things to take care of as well. So on that note, I am Bobby Sampson. He is Chance Michaels.
And in the words of the great ACDC, those that download, like, subscribe, and share the podcast, we salute you.
Absolutely, we salute you. And in the famous words of Ed Whalen, in the meantime and in between time, that's it for Samp and Chance. Look at the bottom of your screen to see where you can find us at all social media platforms. Remember, guys, like and subscribe. It means the world to us. Thank you for all your support. Once again, Bobby Sampson, Chance Michaels, we are out. Have a great night, everybody.